Wembanyama tips it right to Smart. Goes in for the layup. Tie game with 3:20 to play. And the crowd fired up. They were quiet earlier in the half. Wemby against Hachimura. Puts it on the floor, jump shot. Puts it in, tough shot. Spurs. Doncic looking. Castle right with him. Doncic a three. Puts it in. Luka Doncic from downtown. His first lead of the fourth quarter. Wembanyama on the drive. Barrels in. Offensive foul. He's fouled out. Marcus Smart and Rui Hachimura drawing some charges. Mitch Johnson's going to challenge it.
On review, Hachimura is in a legal guarding position. Therefore, this is going to remain an offensive foul. It's an unsuccessful challenge. Player will resume LA on the side.
Champagnie the drive. Castle lost it, got it back. Champagnie corner three. Air ball, fought for, deflected out. Last touch by the Lakers. It didn't hit anything in no possession, so there's 3.4 to shoot.
The Spurs only have one timeout left also. So they've got to even be more careful, and JJ reviewing it.
On review, the ball last touches the left hand of Johnson. Therefore, this is going to be overturned to LA possession. This is a successful challenge. Play will resume with LA possession.
Johnson, 9 to shoot, drives on Smart, goes inside, layup, banks it home, tough shot from Keldon Johnson. Castle a three-pointer, that's short. Olynyk puts it up, banks it home with 1.2 remaining, 2-point game. Smart throws it down, and a whistle. No, did he go over the line?
He didn't get behind the line.
So they have to get it in. Olynyk will inbound, Ayton will guard the inbounds. Vassell, Champagnie, Johnson, and Castle out there. Olynyk has it. Castle cuts to the basket. Looking. Inside ball. Knocked away by Smart. And they say it's still Spurs ball with 1/10 of a second. 4/10 of a second remaining. You can catch and shoot. Obviously, it has to be done quickly, but it's possible.
And they take Jackson Hayes out of the game because you want to protect against a three.
Castle cuts. Olynyk looking. Lobs it up. Champagnie. No! Won't go. But a whistle.
This holiday, Verizon's got the craziest deal.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the Athletics Podcast. Hello. How are we today? We are feeling good. We are feeling great. It is a actually lovely day outside, as you can see to my, technically this is my right side, but to you guys it's left. Anyway, we are gonna talk about everything going on in the sports world right now, but one thing I really want to talk about is NBA Lakers star right now, Luka Doncic. Now, last year, Luka Doncic was in a massive trade with the Mavericks to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis, center, and it was a massive trade that shook the world. Because it was out of nowhere. It was also just a very interesting trade altogether. None of it made sense for either team, to be honest. Because even now, the Lakers still kind of have an issue with finding like the right center. DeAndre Ayton, I will say though, is getting a lot better for the Lakers. But same with the Mavericks. They already had like 2 or 3 solid centers, and so getting Anthony Davis definitely is a huge defensive move, but it doesn't exactly improve your offense because your offense just lost its key player. And so, but Luka Doncic is special right now because within the last 5 to 6 games that he's played, he is averaging 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists, while also averaging 2 steals. Luka Doncic, I would say, is on a roll in terms of players. We have never seen anybody averaging 40 points in 6 games before like this. This is definitely a huge and monumental moment for the sports world, the basketball world. Luka Doncic is someone that is special, and he's only going to get better and better. There are so many special players too, though, like Nikolai Jokic on the Denver Nuggets. What a special center. He's averaging a triple-double, I'm pretty sure, right now. Steph Curry is also still in the league, and he's an amazing player, obviously. Same with LeBron and so forth. There's so many amazing players, but Luka Doncic really stands out. Luka has always been, I would say, a sensation. He's been a sensation since he's joined the league. He's never averaged under 21 points in any of his seasons. He's an amazing scorer. And he's great on every aspect. He's a great rebounder. He's a great playmaker. Like, he really is a great fit for any team, but in general is a great overall player. I'm really, intrigued and excited to see more of this season for the Lakers. Celtics lost last night to the Magic. Tough loss, but, they're doing a lot better, than they started off. I mean, they're 4-6, but, they were 0-3. Then they went 3 games straight, 3-3, and then they're kind of like winning, losing, winning. They're kind of in a weird stretch, but that's okay. I think the Celtics can, fix that. But it's hard, though, because to be fair, they changed their roster quite a lot this year. They lost, Kristaps Porzingis. They lost Drew Holiday. And then plus, Jason Tatum being out for the whole season. So it's like you're really right now relying on, players like Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. So, not exactly the team that, the Celtics had last year. They definitely had a lot more dominant-looking team last year. So I think that's a big reason why they're kind of having a struggle is they're relying on, 2 people right now to basically carry the team. And one of those people is Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown is really good. But I don't think he's good enough to be the guy who's, supposed to be, carrying the court. No, not really. Not really his fit. But speaking of, though, the NBA, let's talk about it. So Wednesday we had the Jazz and Pistons. Pistons beating the Jazz 114-103. The Cavaliers and the 76ers faced off. The Cavaliers actually won that game 132-121. The Brooklyn Nets beat the Pacers 112-103. The Celtics actually did win that game against the Wizards 136-107. Huge win. 137-114. The Knicks beat the Timberwolves. Rockets and Grizzlies. Rockets win 124-109. Pelicans and Mavericks. Pelicans won 101-99. What a close matchup, but Pelicans still got it. How are the Mavericks are 2-6. Yeah, the Mavericks are not. Cooper Flag is Cooper Flag's very good, but to say Cooper Flag is to be fair though, we've seen, first round picks, first overall picks start off bad, but then turn it around. So I think it's still very early in the season to give, someone like Cooper Flag so much flack. He's very young. But at the same time, though, you traded your star player for this first round pick plus all these other people you have. And it's not exactly working, at all. They have only 2 wins out of the 8 or 9 games that they've played. So it's not a very good start for the Mavericks, but, hopefully for the Mavericks, it will turn around. So going down the list from last night's games, though, like I said, the Magic picked off the Celtics 123-110. The Magic are actually doing not too bad. Actually, they're 4-5, not doing bad at all. The Cavaliers are won 148-114. The Rockets and the Spurs played. The Spurs got the Rockets 121-110. Pistons and Brooklyn Nets played. The Pistons won 125-107. The Raptors, Toronto, and Atlanta Hawks played. The Raptors won 109-97. Charlottesville Hornets and the Heat, Miami won 126-108. The Bulls and the Bucks played last night. Bucks won 126-110. Actually, while we have a second and talking about the Bucks, let's take a look over here at how Antetokounmpo has become the Bucks' all-time leader in 40-point games on Friday, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. And so to explain that in a nutshell, so Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played for both the Milwaukee Bucks and the Los Angeles Lakers. Those were the two big teams he was notable for playing with. And Giannis has officially beaten and surpassed Kareem's, record of like 40-point plus games, meaning that he's had multiple 40-plus point games. And so Giannis did that as of last night against the Chicago Bulls. Very big milestone for Giannis and in general for the Bucks franchise. Congratulations to Giannis. He's really, doing numbers, making moves in Milwaukee. He's doing amazing for himself. I'm loving the production. It's amazing. It's great. We want to also talk about the Mavericks and Grizzlies. The Grizzlies won 116-104. Like I said, the Mavericks are doing okay. Let's actually look at, I want to see what Cooper Flag's averaging this year so far. Okay, he's doing great. He's honestly, in my opinion, he's doing fine. He's averaging 14 points as a rookie. That's amazing. His highest scoring game so far was 22 points, and then he had a 20-point game against the Pelicans, but didn't do too well in his game against the Grizzlies, which is surprising. You'd think the Grizzlies would have been easier to play against than the Pelicans, but who cares? He's also averaging 6.6 rebounds and 2.7 assists with a 1.1 steal. So he's doing pretty solid for a rookie. I think Cooper Flag, he's doing okay. I think he's doing fine. I don't think he deserves any form of disrespect. However, though, he definitely isn't playing like the player that the first, because they got Cooper Flag because Cooper Flag was projected to be like this national treasure. They had a lot of high hopes for him, and he's still doing well for, everything considered. He's only played less than 10 games in the NBA, and he's averaging 14 points. So you can't really crap on him too hard about that. But it definitely isn't what the Mavericks are looking for, especially fans of the Mavericks are probably not too happy right now considering they wanted Luka. Like, nobody from the Mavericks franchise wanted to lose Luka. And plus, right now, Anthony Davis is injured again. No surprise there whatsoever. That dude is a glass brick house. Like, he constantly is injured, constantly having trouble staying healthy. It's wild. It's wild for sure. Timberwolves and Jazz. Timberwolves won 137-97, or 137-97. Sorry. And then the Nuggets played the Warriors, which I thought that was going to be a closer matchup, but the Nuggets won 129-104. The Thunder played the Kings, and the Thunder beat the Kings by 31 points, 132-101. And that was yesterday's games, so we are excited to see more. Tonight, though, starting at 7 o'clock, we go down the list real quick. Mavericks, Wizards, Raptors, and 76ers. Both those games start at 7 o'clock, then 7:30. Then from 8 o'clock, there's 4 games. Trailblazers, Heat, Bucks, Cavaliers, Lakers and Hawks, Pelicans and Spurs. Then at 9 o'clock, we have Nuggets and Pacers. And then 10:30 tonight, we have Suns and Clippers. Then tomorrow, we have 7 games. We have the Rockets and Bucks at 3:30. Then at 6 p.m. going on up until 9 o'clock will be the Celtics and Magic, Brooklyn Nets versus the New York Knicks, so 2 New York teams, Thunder and Grizzlies, Pistons and 76ers, Pacers and Warriors, and Timberwolves and Kings. So, honestly, this is a great next couple games in the NBA world, and I am excited to see more and continue with more. But we have some tragic news that we need to talk about. If you're not aware, not last night, but a couple nights ago, Cowboys 24-year-old player Marshawn Kneeland died of a fatal suicide gun wound. So as of a couple nights ago, we were informed that 24-year-old Marshawn Nealand was dead. He had died. At first, it wasn't really sure exactly what his injury was, but as of a couple nights ago, it was official that he had died in his car. Troopers later found the car they had been pursuing, but it was abandoned and had been involved in a crash. After searching the area near the crash, police found Nealand at 1:31 a.m., deceased from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Apparently, police were asked to do a welfare check on Nealand just before midnight. At 11:40 p.m., the Plano Police Department got a call for a welfare concern, according to the Fort Worth Star Telegram. Authorities made it to their ways to Nealand's residence, but they didn't make contact with anyone during the visit. Troopers later found the car they had been pursuing, but it was abandoned and had been involved in a crash. And like I had said, they found him with a gun wound. So, very tragic and very hard news. Nealand was very young. Nealand was actually coming into himself as a player. From what I am aware of, from Cowboys fans have informed me that he was getting better. And it's true, his stats, can tell you he was getting much better with his youth. He was a young player, just trying to get better, and he was, from what we are aware of, clearly it was a suicide, so he might have had some things going on that we're not 100% aware about, but they don't exactly show us, well, from this season he had, let's see, in his career, his career is that he played 26 games, it looks like, in total. He had a career of 15 solo tackles, 11 assists, 1 sack, and then one fumble recovery for a grand total of 6 yards. So, honestly, for being 24 years old, these stats are actually very solid, especially for being a second-round pick from 2024. He was only in the league for a year. He was very young. It's really too bad. I don't know though. It seems weird. I don't know if maybe it's crazy to sound that, but like, he was drafted last year in 24. He's had a career of 15 tackles in less than 2 years, essentially. And so I think he was really good. So my question is, like, what exactly... I'd be curious to know exactly why he was sad and what caused him to take his life, because it's like, you're in the NFL, man. Like, you're doing really amazing. Like, I don't know. It's hard. And he's not much... This guy's not much older than I am, so... really, shout out to Marshawn Nealand, Sorry, man. Prayers to his family and his loved ones, and prayers to the Dallas Cowboys franchise in general. It's really been a bad year, being a Cowboys fan. It's been a bad year. But this is also a really bad thing too. Having one of your own players kill himself is definitely not ideal. So that really sucks for Nealand. Yeah, just take a moment. Alrighty. Now we are going to go on to some more NFL news, talking about the recent trade deadline and what's the new moves. So a lot's changed. So for starters, we'll start with the bottom and go up. So Baltimore made a deal with Tennessee for linebacker DeMonte Jones, who Jones is really good, in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick, which... That's a really good, he's a solid player. So for that pick, you definitely sneaked them on that one. Jaguars actually did a big move too. they acquired Jacoby Myers from Las Vegas. And if you're from New England, you're probably familiar with that name. Jacoby Myers was drafted by the Patriots back in, 21? He was the 32nd pick in the first round. He was the final pick in the first round. It was either 21 or 22. And then so forth. We got I recognize this name. One of my former running backs, DJ Dallas, signed with Carolina Panthers, so that's a huge move. The Seahawks also required Rashid Shaheed from New Orleans, the Saints, in exchange for a 26th, 4th, and 5th round pick. We also signed Mac Delana to the practice squad. We also waived one of our strong safeties, Jared Reed, second, but he instantly got picked up by the Titans. Titans picked him up the same day. Steelers got Marquez Valdez-Scantling and a couple other smaller players. So Marquez Valdez-Scantling was big when he played with the Packers. He was on the Chiefs. He was also supposed to play with us this year on the Seahawks, but we kind of got rid of him before the season began, or around when the season began. He didn't like at all play a season with us. And then we also, seems like we got a couple other ones real quick. Another big one actually. Colts upgrading their defense, acquire Sauce Gardner from the New York Jets. That's a huge move because Sauce Gardner is amazing and he needs to be on a team that's actually winning. So congratulations to Sauce Gardner from going from the Jets to the Colts. And that was in exchange for a wide receiver, a first-round pick for both 26 and 27 first-round picks, which is interesting to see. I'm surprised that's an interesting trade. 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. I mean, Sauce Gardner is good, but that is definitely a unique, trade, in my opinion. Cowboys also got themselves some beef on defense with both Logan Wilson from Cincinnati and defensive tackle Quinton Williams from the New York Jets. So, honestly, they did pretty good. They only lost. The only real big thing they're losing is, their 2027 first-round pick. I mean, they're losing a second-round pick so the next draft, this coming draft, they won't have a second-round pick. But, I mean, that's all they're really losing. I mean, Logan Wilson is definitely worth a 7th-round pick. That's, a really good one. And Williams is also young and very good. But will these 2 players be able to fill the void that Micah Parsons made, kind of thing? Yes and no. I think Logan Wilson is very good, and same with Williams. But it would have been really nice if the Cowboys, because imagine if they got Williams. Well, they probably wouldn't have traded for Williams probably as much, but Logan Wilson would have been a great addition next to Micah Parsons, for example. So I think that if Logan Wilson was still to come to the Cowboys. But honestly, Quinton Williams makes sense too, though, because imagine this, right? If the Cowboys still had Micah Parsons, they probably could have traded for even more. They probably could have gotten even more people, because thing is the Cowboys, if they had just kept Micah Parsons, they would have that. But now it's they don't have Micah Parsons, and now they don't have a future second round or a 2027 first round pick. So it's I think that's something that's gonna bite them in the ass. They're gonna have a first round pick coming into this draft, but that means that in 27 though they won't have a first rounder. So that's an interesting move by the Cowboys. But I mean, if it's gonna help them though. It's really gonna help them. So can't complain. And then last night, Quandre Diggs was waived by the Titans, and that was also. I would say somewhat of a big deal headliner. Same with the Raiders. I mean, it's not really a big one, but Raiders also, I guess, fired their special teams coordinator, Tom McMahon. And so, yeah, that's insane. Speaking of football, though, we probably had, without a doubt in my mind, probably the most boring Thursday night football. I wasn't too impressed with the production that came from that game. I mean, it was 10-7. I honestly expected the Raiders to really get themselves beat. Like, I expected Denver to like actually dominate this game, but the fact that like it was a field goal difference and the highest scoring was 10 points was really bothering to me, because it's like, there's some, we've had some weird Thursday night footballs. Like even last week, Ravens and, Dolphins was kind of weird. But even that game was entertaining, and it was somewhat high scoring. This game was just nothing but, it was just nothing but defense. Defense and terrible offense. Both Geno Smith and Bo Nixon were throwing lots of picks, lots of interceptions. Not exactly the move I would say they were probably looking for, to be honest. And so, I don't know. I'm curious to see, hopefully better games this week. Definitely hoping for much better games, because that definitely wasn't the game that I think we were looking for in terms of the NFL. But let's take a look, Ski.
But instead throws caught. That's Bryant. And he'll make it a first down and goal. Pat Bryant. Harvey now slips to the outside. Nix looks that way, then over the middle, then to the right. Throws, caught. Into the end zone for the touchdown. Troy Franklin.
Not taking off and wanting getting out of there. Speaking of patient, watch this route to the far right by 11. Franklin, who played with Bo Nix in college at Oregon, gives him a chance there to be able to make that catch against man coverage. There's his eyes, being patient, finding the rhythm, steps up, puts it on.
Lockett goes to the outside. Smith, down he goes at the 32-yard line. That pressure again. Allen and Benito converge.
And so, it's crazy to think that, that was roughly around the 2-minute warning of the second quarter, and, that was the most production we've seen. That was it. That was the last touchdown we will see for the remainder of the game. The next 2 quarters is nothing but, turnovers, defense, weak offense, Definitely wasn't the game that I think a lot of people were hoping for. I mean, like I said, but Broncos should have scored a lot more than 10 points. That was definitely a very, disappointing game to watch. And that also, brings up Bo Nixon threw 2 interceptions that game. And so the real big question we have to ask ourselves is the Broncos, my bad. The Broncos are 8-2, but yet after watching them play like how they did last night, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Broncos fans need to be worried, because that was terrible. That was just downright terrible. Falcons and Colts tomorrow starting at 9:30. Where are they playing? Are they playing in they're playing in Germany. They're playing in Berlin, Germany. That's amazing. So that game will be on tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. Colts should win that game, no problem. Browns and Jets. Browns. Saints and Panthers. Panthers. Patriots and Bucks. That's actually going to be a tough game for both teams. I think the Buccaneers, though, have when they're healthy with both Mike Evans and Obuka, I think the Buccaneers are going to win that game. But I'm rooting for the Patriots. They're the underdogs. They look really good this year. I'm excited to watch them play, so that's going to be a good game. Ravens and Vikings. That could also be a tough game, but I think I'm going to root for the Ravens on this one with Lamar Jackson. I think they're going to step up. They're going to have better. It's still 8 more games. We still have 8 more. Well, actually, technically 9. We have today's game and then 8 more games to go still, so we're not over just yet. Bills and Dolphins. Bills Should have no problem with that against the Dolphins, Giants, Bears. With all the injuries the Giants have, I'm going to say the Bears in this game. I would normally say the Giants, but the Giants have too many injuries right now with missing both Mike Nabbers and Cam Scadaboo still. Jags and Texans. With the recent acquirement of Jacoby Myers, I think that the Jags should have no problem with this. Texans also are not playing like they did last season. They're 3-5. They're just Texans. I don't know what's going on over there, but they're definitely not having the season that they had last year, the spark that they had last year. Cardinals and Seahawks. No brainer, Seahawks. Lions and Commanders. That's going to be an interesting game for sure. I think the Lions are going to come out on top in this one. Rams and 49ers. I mean, I'd rather both teams lose, but for the sake of things, I probably need the Rams to win just so then the 49ers can go to 6-4. So, yeah. I'm hoping that the 49ers don't win that game. I need the Rams to win that game. Steelers and Chargers at 8:30. I mean, Chargers, yeah, I think the Chargers still got it. It's going to be a tough game for Pittsburgh, but Aaron Rodgers has been pretty solid this season, doing pretty well. And then Monday night's game is an actual, real matchup. Eagles and Packers. That's going to be a good one. Eagles have been pretty dominant, but I think the Packers, I think we could see the Packers winning that game. I think the Packers could definitely win that game. They should really need them to. It'd be awesome to see them win that one. And so with that being said, we're going to finally end things off with one final thing. We are not done just yet. Not just yet. I want to finish it off by talking about the update and more situation on the gambling situation in the NBA. So former coach DeMond Jones is a defendant in both the poker and the NBA betting cases. So Jones was with Chauncey Billups, a part of the betting scheme, but he was also a part of the poker as well. And so that's interesting because he's the first one we know who has done that. Former NBA player and coach DeMond Jones pleaded not guilty charges to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering that stemmed from two separate illegal gambling cases. To remain free, he uses his mother's and stepfather's home as collateral for a $200,000 bond. Jones is one of the three defendants in both the alleged poker ring and NBA betting cases. He is alleged to have told someone close to him that a prominent player in the Lakers, widely speculated to be LeBron James, would not play February 9th, 2023 before the informant was public. James did not play in the game due to an ankle injury. The game in question took place 2 days after James scored 38 points to become the NBA's all-time scoring leader. So basically what we're seeing that somehow Jones was rigging and talking with people about how he knew LeBron James was going to do that. Or same with, he also is in the same incident, but about another one of the Lakers' best players 11 months later, speculated to be Anthony Davis regarding injury that was likely to affect his performance. That ultimately backfired because the player performed well and the Lakers won. And so Jones is also alleged to have taken part and benefited from rigged poker games being used as a face card along with Chauncey Billups to lure victims into playing with celebrities. And so it was one of those things where they were basically making it so they knew, they were talking to other people and they were basically being like, hey, LeBron James is planning to score this many points. You should do this. And that's where the issue comes in, is because, you're a former player and you're also a former coach. So you have people that could easily get you insight that you want. You could easily get that information, not like some everyday person who's just betting and gambling. And so that's that's why the situation is so serious, is because they're blatantly scheming the system and making a lot more money than they need to, nor do they need. And so with that being said, thank you, everybody. Before we go, I would love to have some comments, if there are any. Love to have some comments about what we are expecting from next week's games. How are Sunday night games going to fare up? We're so excited. Speaking of that, though, like I said, it's Sunday tomorrow. It's Sunday tomorrow. Get your jerseys on. Get yourself comfortable in your home, wherever you are. Maybe you're going out with your friends to the bar to go watch it at a sports bar. I don't know what you're doing, but get ready. We are excited. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Logan Luce, and this has been the Athletics Podcast. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy.